Welcome neighbors to Miracle Farm 1927 Homestead. Today we're working on a little 3720 John Deere. The lift won't stop. When you raise it all the way up, it pulls the motor down, so something is not kicking it out. So right here is a rod. It's got nothing on the rock shaft that tells it to cut off. It's got a rod that comes in it. As this lift arm moves, this rod kicks the valve out. And something's going on with it, or there's something happened to the valve. So we're going to start with this rod and see if that fixes it. If it don't, we'll have to go on in deeper. If you'll watch, the lever is doing nothing. Got it almost up before it ever starts doing anything. Here I was pulling that engine out. It's not kicking itself out. See, it's going down. It's going down as soon as you move the lever off the top. I have had these come loose right here. Where pivots these don't get. Here we've got all the seat frame and all the plastic shield and all off, and then we've got down to the lever here that we're looking at. Here's the lever that comes from the lift arm, or the rock shaft arm, and it moves back. The lift arm's down right now, but this moves back, moves this lever here. What is wrong with it? The reason it's not working, somebody has put a cotter key in this, supposed to have a spring pin in it, but this shaft for some reason is locked up. The actual lever looks like it's moving, but all it's doing is rocking back and forth on the shaft where it's got play, where the cotter key's not as tight as the spring pin. So we got to tire into it, got to pull the valve body apart and see why this shaft is locked up. But anyway, it's been locked up a while because it's I believe the guy told me that he had pulled it apart and put a cotter key in something, so I guess right here is where it was at. But like I said, it's not moving the shaft. It's got to move this. As the lift arms comes up, it's got to work this back and reposition the quadrant on the control valve so it can stop it. Alrighty, we're going to tire it on down and see what we find. Okay, we're in here now. You see this plate right here? Is that lever moves out there that comes from the rock shaft arm. It moves this, and it's got a slot in it. You can't see the slot in that piece of metal, but when it moves it enough that it lets that metal piece come away from the quadrant. See the spring there on the quadrant? It lets it move, and it tells it to knock the valve out. And it's not moving, so it's not knocking this valve out. So I've got to take this shaft out, see why it's stuck. So that's where we're at now. This is how tight that shaft is. It rusted. It just got in there and rusted it. And we've messed with it for about an hour trying to get it loosened up to come out. It's finally moved about a ½ inch.
Had to take the control valve off.
Yeah. Is that supposed to slide in?
Yeah, pretty easy. It wasn't moving at all a while ago. About got it out. See, it's pretty rusty. There we go. Look at it.
See right there?
Yeah, oh good Lord, there's her.
Little bit of rust.
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
There's the O-ring. We'll have to get this loosened up where it works real free. Because like I say, that's all it done. It just rusted, locked it up, and
it's
twisted the roll pin out.
Really tight in there, you know, it's closely machined in there.
We're back this morning and went to John Deere yesterday and got a new shaft to go in it. See how pretty and shiny that is.
It's amazing we could get one.
Yeah, I was shocked they had it in stock. See how free it is? That's how free it's got to be. So that thing will, when this rod moves, it will trigger that thing and pop the valve off. Right there was the whole problem, was this shaft had just rusted in there. So we're gonna put some anti-seize on it this time.
Yeah.
We'll update you a little.
Now he's putting the control valve back on. It's got 3 little Allen screws. They're 7mm. Trying to make sure they're nice and tight in there. We don't have a torque wrench that'll go in there. We do have sockets, but they for them bottom ones, they're what do you call it, recessed back in there, and can't get a socket in them, so just gotta use a regular old Allen wrench. So he's just got them a pipe. So after we get that on there, we'll slide the new shaft in and get it all situated, and we'll put the cover on them and try them out. And we're putting the shaft in now. First time we're putting it in with the O-ring on it. Yeah. Still good and free. Put a little bit of anti-seize on it, and that's what that is. Anyway, it's working good now. So we're gonna get the cover on it and wait for silicone to dry, and then we'll test it out. We'll put this lever on right here on the shaft, and we got the little bar on. So what this does is, this little rod, I think Daddy explained it already, didn't you? But anyway, this little rod is hooked to the lift. So this is the lift arm. So this little it goes out to this little bracket right here that's on the shaft, and when this goes forward, that means the lift's coming up, right? Or which way would the lift?
It pulls it back to let let the valve seat back. The valve's in the closed position now.
Okay.
And when it's up, as the lift comes up, lets this come off like this right here.
Okay.
Unless this valve shut back.
Yeah. So anyway, when this moves, it moves this valve right there with that little lever. So that's neat. Not a real neat way of putting it together. But anyway, that wasn't moving at all because that shaft was rusted and in there. And when we finally got to move, you'd have to beat it back and forth. You couldn't just move it with your finger. Now we can move it with our finger and all that. So now he's gonna try to get that rod in there. Looks kind of close. But anyway, we got that back together, and we're going to have to wait to see if it works. We're pretty sure it'll work now, because there was no way that could have been working with that being froze, that shaft being froze up like that. But anyway, we're gonna have to wait because when we get there's no gasket for this cover. It's factory siliconed on, so we got to silicone it back because they can't sell a gasket for it. And so we gotta wait for the silicone to dry before we get to test it. But anyway, got the little lever on. We gotta adjust. You can see that nut. That's the adjustment for it. We gotta adjust that back up for it to work. But anyway, just gonna have to put the cover on and wait. So I don't know, it'll probably be tomorrow before we get to actually see if it works or not. But anyway, we'll be back then.
I got the lever in all the way up position, and now I'm gonna just raise the lift arms up and watch it and see if it knocks the valve out of gear.
Yep. That's neat. Anyway,
before it would not do that. It would bottom out at the top and start pulling the motor down.
Yeah. Huh. That's a neat rig right there. Yeah. Alright, we're back with the tractor. We got everything back on. And now we're about to crank it up and see if our lift works. So before, what it was doing, you'd raise it up. The lift wouldn't start moving until it was all the way, the lever was all the way in the up position. And then it wouldn't stop. It would just keep going, and the lift arms would hit the back of the seat, and it just wouldn't stop. And it would bog the motor and all that stuff. So now it should, if that fixed it, it should just go up as soon as you move the lever, and it shouldn't go all the way up and bottom out. So once he gets ready, we're going to crank him up and see. Oh.
Should stop about right there, it looks like, on it.
Yeah. Might have to do some more adjusting, but besides that, it was, like I said, it wouldn't move at all until you had it all the way up at the top. So right now it's definitely a lot better. Yeah. I think we're still going to have to do some adjusting at the very top. Yeah, we can't really tell where it was stopping before. I think the
let's come back to that boat.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll probably have to do a little bit more adjusting on it. But besides that, it seems to be working good now. Okay, so Daddy, he just adjusted, see the adjustments right here on this rod. He did a little bit of adjusting on it, and now you can bring it all the way back, and that the lift comes up and it doesn't bog the motor or anything, so that valve, that lever works, is working good now. Just had to do a little bit of adjustment. So that was pretty handy. I'm glad that worked. But I think we got her pretty dialed in now.